This is the KHON2 News at 5 with Howard Dashevsky and Bridget Namata.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Howard has the night off. Amanda Eller felt she'd get rescued in the very spot where rescuers found her Friday, and she answered what was or wasn't in her system when she went missing. Nikki Schenfeld has Eller's first interview since being found.
I'm at the Makawao Forest Reserve where Amanda's 17-day journey began. She told us today that she felt guided to park in this parking lot and to go down this trail, both of which she has never done before. Amanda giving us details on how she got lost in the forest on May 8th.
I love to stay away from cell phones. I love to just truly dig my feet in the dirt and connect to nature.
She went on a run and decided to take a break. She said she found a tree and started to meditate.
I tried to go back the way that I came, which I had a sense of direction at that point. The path was not leading me back to my car.
She followed a path deeper into the forest. Her first week, a total struggle.
Because the first 5 days, I just wanted to play victim and crawl into a hole and be like, why me? At some point, it's like, something slapped me across the face and said, whoa, wake up. Put your feet on the ground. Pay attention to what's happening underneath of your feet. It's slippery out here. It's dangerous out here. You could hurt yourself. You could die. Take this seriously.
She said she hurt her leg after she fell 20 feet trying to get to water. The following night, heavy rains swept her shoes downstream. She said she tried to make SOS signs with rocks so helicopters above could see. She felt helpless every time a helicopter passed by.
You lose hope, and your hope meter starts to decline a little bit. And then as the sun starts to go down, you're like, okay, another night alone. How am I going to stay warm? How am I going to stay alive?
But on her last day, she reached this spot between two waterfalls. She said she felt that this was going to be where she was going to be rescued. Then, around 3:45 on Friday, one more helicopter flew above.
I just collapsed. I had a plant in my mouth that I was planning on eating for dinner. And I'm in the woods, and I don't know how they spotted me. I mean, that is a miracle. It's a miracle.
She said other than being high on life, she wasn't under the influence of anything the day she went missing.
I really didn't have much in my stomach, and I didn't have any caffeine. I didn't have any sugar. I try to avoid sugar. And I definitely didn't have any drugs or alcohol or anything like that. Everybody can have their little theories there. I don't care.
When asked when she'll return to this forest, she said not anytime soon. From Makawao, Nikki Schenfeld, KHON2 News.
Finding Eller alive is giving the family of Noah Kakai Mina hope. Mina has been missing for 8 days after hiking up Kapilau Ridge Trail in Wailuku. Jen Boniza has the latest on search efforts. Jen?
Bridget, Kakai Mina's Ohana is using every resource possible. They are determined to find him, and his father tells me he believes his son is still alive. Kakai Mina's Ohana says it's been a roller coaster ride of emotions looking for him since he disappeared last Monday.
We're hoping for the best, just like in Amanda's case. It's wonderful that she was found and that she's okay. So, we can fix things, broken bones or whatever like that, but replacing Kakai is just not an option.
Choppers have been searching every 2 hours since 5:30 in the morning. They even used infrared technology.
We went over to Waikapu Valley, and, basically all he was receiving, all he was getting was infrared heat for goats and birds.
They focused on Kapilau Ridge, where Kakai's slippers were found, and the surrounding valleys, in addition to doing reconnaissance for Wednesday.
Tomorrow, the plan is to send in some ground teams to search with canine and drone operators.
Nishiki tells me they're being led by residents familiar with the terrain.
Every day we have hope, and hey, today's not over. We're looking at that mountain, and we're finding a way to get up there and rescue him.
The search will be suspended until first light tomorrow morning. They plan to search the area Kakai's slippers were found on the ridge one last time before sending canines out in the afternoon and expanding the search zone. You can log on to KHON2news.com to find out how you can help bring Kakai home. Bridget?
Key testimony in the Kealoha trial today. An HPD officer who agreed to a plea deal with prosecutors took the witness stand. Manolo Morales is live at federal court. Manolo, what happened today?
Well, Bridget now told the jury today, or now Silva told the jury today, that he conspired with defendants Derek Han and Bobby Nguyen about the surveillance video of the mailbox theft, which is a key evidence in this case. Now, Silva said he filed a report saying he picked up the hard drive off the surveillance video from the Kealoha house when it was actually Nguyen who brought it to the police station. He said, in quote, "It wouldn't look good if Bobby had turned in the evidence because Bobby used to live with the chief," Silva said. He also testified that in the report, he indicated he checked to make sure that everything was working properly, but he never actually checked. He said Han told him to lie about it. Silva said he never turned in the video evidence until about a week after he processed it. Puana was already arrested a couple of days before that. And he never turned in the whole hard drive. He just made copies of certain clips. He said Han told him it wasn't needed. In quote, he said, "We didn't need it, so I put it back into rotation," Silva testified. Silva said his heart sank when he testified in the Puana trial and kept lying about it, even though he thought the man in the video did not look like Puana. Silva said he kept lying when FBI questioned him and also when he testified to the grand jury. When asked why the jury should believe him today, he said, in quote, "Because I took the oath today and I would sure not put my family in jeopardy again." Now, during cross-examination, defense attorneys pointed out that some of his testimony today were inconsistent, making the point that it's hard to determine when he's telling the truth. Defense attorneys also pointed out that he agreed to testify to get a lighter sentence, where Silva responded, "I have no expectations." He added, "I wanted to come clean and not have to lie anymore." When asked if he was hoping for a reduction in his sentence, he did say yes. Now, Silva pled guilty to conspiracy to obstruct justice as well as making a false statement. He could get up to 5 years in prison. Bridget, over to you.
Thank you, Manolo. And stay with KHON for the very latest on the Kealoha's corruption trial, both on air and online at KHON2.com. A man accused of assaulting a police officer on Sunday has been charged. 36-year-old Remington Guyton has been charged with assault on an officer and attempted theft. Police say Guyton was hitting and pushing people along Kapiolani Boulevard. When the officer confronted him on Makaloa Street, police say he used a weapon to assault the officer and tried to take the officer's gun. A Good Samaritan stepped in to help. We share his story tonight at 6. We now know the name of the woman killed in a car crash yesterday. The Honolulu Medical Examiner's Office identified her as 76-year-old Apolinaria Ringer of Eva Beach. She was outside of her vehicle, stalled on Fort Weaver Road Monday morning when she was hit by an SUV driven by a 34-year-old man. Ringer was hospitalized in critical condition. She later died. The 34-year-old driver of the car was taken to the hospital in good condition. Police say speed was a factor in the crash. The monthly influx of box jellyfish is sticking around. Yesterday, more than 1,000 stings were reported on Oahu. Ocean Safety posted signs at the affected beaches, Waikiki, Ala Moana, Waimea Bay, and Pokai Bay. Today, there were 5 stings at Waimea Bay and 14 at Ala Moana. Members of the St. Augustine Church in Waikiki patrolled the shoreline today and picked up dozens of the critters.
This was an unusual influx because we had a lot of the very small jellyfish, ones that were the size of $1, half a dollar. And we normally don't get that, just the larger ones.
The influx is subsiding and should be gone over the next few days. Well, it's feeling more and more like summer already with the warm temperatures outside, but when will the trade winds be back? Justin Cruz has the answer. Hey, Jus.
Hey, it's Thursday. That's the key day for the return of the trade winds to the islands. Until then, we have record-breaking and record-tying heat. Record breaker today, Kahului at 94 degrees. That beats the previous record of 93. And a tie for the record high for Lihue at 85, 87 for Honolulu, and in the mid-80s elsewhere. What we have is light and variable winds or southeasterly winds, Kona winds, whatever you want to call it, but they're not trade winds. Trades do return on Thursday to help cool us off. And until then, we're seeing a little bit of shower activity. I do want to point out Oahu that some showers popped up this afternoon on the commute home. It looks like an area of heavy rain on the H3 by the airport at this time. Roadways are wet on the commute home, so give yourself a little bit of extra time, even if you cross to the windward side because of these showers, which should be clearing up as the night progresses. Overall, we're going to see a wet forecast for tonight, clearing up, mostly sunny tomorrow morning, and then the clouds and the light showers during the afternoon hours, just like today. And one more day of variable winds before the trades return on Thursday. Bridget, over to you.
Thanks, Jus. It's 5:10 right now. Let's check early evening rush hour traffic on Oahu. We turn things over to Lady V.
Thanks, aloha, Bridget. So there was a vehicle fire on Hirano Tunnel. It is out, and all lanes in the Halawa Honolulu bound direction are open. HFD remains on the scene. Please drive with caution. Traffic on the H3 in both directions is slow. Like is wide open, a much better option. Westbound traffic is backed up all the way to Ward Overpass and continues through Honolulu Freeway. On the H1 viaduct, traffic backs up to the Arizona off-ramp and relieves past Waikele. Townbound traffic gets congested as you approach the Middle Street merge and relieves around the Punahou on and off ramps. Now, there is very heavy rain with wet road conditions today, including ponding, so please drive with caution. I'm Lady V from 92.3 KSSK Traffic Center. Bridget, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Lady V. Coming up, tornadoes and flooding continue to impact parts of the mainland, plus anger after a man stabs multiple innocent bystanders, including children, at a bus stop in Japan.
Everyday low prices, interest-free financing will deliver your dream. Inspiration Interiors.
Wow! Yeah! There we go.
This Memorial Day, start your summer off right in a new Chevrolet.
Oh, wow. It's time to upgrade. You guys outdid yourself there.
I'm going to go and get a Chevy.
An exciting summer begins at your Chevy dealer. And now during the Chevy Memorial Day sales event, get 0% financing for 72 months on these select Chevy models. Or current GM owners can get $3,250 total cash allowance on this Colorado. See your Hawaii Chevy dealer.
Mothers at Kaiser Permanente have an amazing amount of choices. Our goal is to provide women with the best childbirth experience that they can have.
Occasionally, we do have some newborns who need help. That's when the neonatal intensive care unit comes in. We have babies who are born at less than a pound. We are equipped to take care of them.
We are there for you at every step of the way.
When they go home, the joy that I see in that family, it's what I live for, and that's why I do what I do.
What name have contractors trusted most for their air conditioning jobs since 1982?
AC Warehouse. AC Warehouse.
AC Warehouse.
What's in a name? If the name is AC Warehouse.
Top-notch AC system from Mitsubishi Electric.
Fast, trouble-free service from AC Warehouse.
An unbeatable combination.
What name do contractors choose for their air conditioning jobs?
AC Warehouse.
AC Warehouse. AC Warehouse and Mitsubishi Electric.
An unbeatable combination.
When local communities are impacted, it can be hard to know who to trust. Our island values are important in these times. We always show aloha, and ohana becomes more than just family. We at BBB only stand with the businesses you can trust. Businesses that really care about local people and their values.
From all of us at Better Business Bureau, we are here for you. Hawaii is open for business, so start your search for trust at bbb.org and the BBB app.
You're watching KHON2, working for Hawaii.
While folks in the Midwest deal with tornadoes, the same storm system is bringing major flooding to areas of the Southeast. Ray Bogan has more from Arkansas.
There's widespread damage and flooding throughout the central U.S. thanks to two fast-moving storm systems. On Monday night, a string of tornadoes hitting parts of Ohio and Indiana, causing significant damage to homes and businesses.
was just total devastation up there. There were houses that looked perfectly fine, and then there were houses that didn't exist anymore.
Meanwhile, in Arkansas, a weekend of wild weather causing massive flooding issues. In some areas, the waters have reached record levels, prompting evacuations, closing roads, and forcing school cancellations throughout the region.
It's all about student safety, and we just want to make sure that our kids are safe, and we think that this decision promotes that. We're optimistic. We really hope that we're not going to have to come back and make those up.
And the worst could still be ahead. The National Weather Service says more rain is in the forecast for late Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, anxious residents are doing their best to prepare. But in some towns, including here in Fort Smith, there's a shortage of sandbags, prompting warnings from police not to steal them from other houses. But most community members say they're focused on helping their neighbors.
One thing about our community, they're really tight, and whenever things get tough, they just really get the band together and help each other out.
The previous high water mark here was set back in 1945. It was broken on Sunday, and it's expected to get even higher tomorrow. In Fort Smith, Arkansas, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
The head of a school in Japan in which a student was stabbed to death says he is struggling to contain his anger. Yesterday, a man armed with a knife in each hand went on a stabbing spree at a bus stop near the school located just outside Tokyo, injuring 17 people and killing a 6th grade student and a parent. Witnesses say the attacker yelled, "I will kill you," as he lunged at the group of schoolgirls and parents. School officials say they will take steps to address safety concerns.
I saw kids screaming and crying. Other kids and people at the scene looked too shocked to do anything. I didn't know what I could do for them.
The suspect died due to a self-inflicted stab wound. A motive for the attack is unknown. New data reveals the number of diabetes cases is declining, but obesity remains an ongoing issue across the country. The number of people diagnosed with diabetes dropped to 1.3 million in 2017. 1.7 million new cases of the disease were reported in 2009. But obesity rates across the U.S. rose during that time period. Officials say changes and upgrades in diabetes testing led to the drop in cases, but they say more steps must be taken by health groups to prevent people from developing the disease. Findings can be viewed online in the medical journal BMJ. Coming up, a cry for help mobilizes a California family to take charge of a fawn in danger of drowning.
Just announced, it's back, it's bigger, and it's better. The Memorial Day Sell-a-thon is back at your Hawaii Ford dealers. It's bigger, huge savings only during the Sell-a-thon. And it's better. Get an extra $2,000 for your trade on select vehicles. Lease Escape, Edge, or Explorer with just $999 due at signing after a bonus from Ford. Or get F-150 with over $10,000 total possible savings. The Ford Memorial Day Sell-a-thon. It's back, it's bigger, and it's better. So get a Ford today. Hurry to your Hawaii Ford dealers. It all ends soon.
Ruby Tuesday Hawaii starts with you. Through breakfast, lunch, dinner, and catering, we satisfy your cravings. Locally owned and operated, we pride ourselves in serving local flavors with your favorite comfort foods. Come in for this month's barbecue special with St. Louis baby back and pee-pee kaula ribs. Inspired by you, we bring Ohana beyond our kitchen and into your community with great experiences and everlasting relationships. Only at Ruby Tuesday Hawaii.
This summer, bring sunshine and adventure together at the Subaru Hawaii Love Summer Adventure Sales Event. Start the fun in a 2019 Forester, now standard with EyeSight Driver Assist technology, or turn heads in a 2019 Impreza with standard Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Both vehicles are IIHS top safety picks, and right now, both Forester and Impreza are at 1.9% APR. Hey, it's a Subaru. Trusted, safe, capable at your Subaru Hawaii dealers.
Ready to save big on gas? Celebrate Aloha Friday with KHON2, Aloha Gas, and Aloha Island Mart. We're giving you huge savings at the pump. All you have to do is watch Wake Up Today this Friday to see which Aloha Gas and Aloha Island Mart to visit, then drive in and enjoy a really nice price on your fill-up. Brought to you by KHON2, Aloha Gas, and your neighborhood Aloha Island Mart, where all grades of Aloha gasoline are certified top tier for optimal engine performance.
A family in California had a once-in-a-lifetime experience with wildlife this Memorial Day weekend. Michelle Kingston has the heartwarming story.
Heading out on their boat for a ride on the Lake of the Pines this weekend, the Freitas family stopped and turned around after hearing a cry for help from a small fawn treading water.
As soon as it jumped in the water, I could tell that it was, it was desperate and it wanted help.
The fawn was stuck on the rocks, but this family was determined to bring it to safety.
So as we pulled up, I wasn't expecting it to jump and actually swim out towards me, so I was kind of taken back a little bit. And then when it got close, I was actually afraid that it was going to go under the pontoon, so I reached down and grabbed it out of the water.
Jesse passed the fawn to his sister, who was able to bring the fawn to its mother, who was waiting patiently on the shoreline.
And the mother was on the other side of the bush where I was. So I was worried, I didn't want her to attack me because I had her baby. And then I was able to put it up on shore and actually couldn't walk it first. So I had to keep pushing it so that it wouldn't fall back into the water. And then it walked up to the mother, and then it even started suckling on the mother.
The entire rescue caught on camera by a quick-thinking passenger on board, Jessica's daughter, Jalen, who learned quite a bit from the whole experience.
If I see another animal that needs help, I will do everything to make it get back to its mother or father.
Yeah. We were talking after. I was like, that's never going to happen again. We're never going to, not too many people get to hold a deer, let alone a baby one that small.
In the East Bay, Michelle Kingston, KHON2 News.
Happy ending.
Look how cute the little fawn was.
You know what? Without seeing the video, I thought it would be cat.
You thought it looked like a cat?
I thought I was hearing a meow.
Oh.
Not look, the sound, the meowing.
I feel like all the baby animals sound like that.
Yeah.
Well, here at home, no trade winds. I'm super bummed about that.
Yeah, and we're going to get them back. So there's light at the end of the tunnel for you. And behind me and in the sky cam, you can see some of the downpours that are happening right now over the south shore of Oahu. We'll take a look when our news continues.